Hello,
What up?
and welcome
Cole's so
to the
excited
Death
he's
Metal
bouncing.
Cast. He's here, Cole's here. We are the cast and crew of Death Battle, and we are excited to talk about the most recent episode that just came out, Venom versus Crona. It's definitely an interesting episode for a lot of different reasons. So if you have not seen it, we're probably going to spoil it. Actually, yes, we are going to spoil it because we've got Q&A to go through, as well as the behind the scenes and whatnot. So first things first, though. I'm Ben. I'm the voice of Wiz. Next to me is Luis.
Hello, everybody. I'm the lead animator. Wait, no, I'm an animation director now, actually.
Yes.
Oh, look
Luis
at
got
you.
a promotion.
Yay.
Congratulations, Luis.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes.
Oh my
Down there's Chad.
Hi.
He's the boomstick.
I play boomstick. You're on a kick with the boomstick lately.
The boomstick. I like it.
Hey, boom. That's Cole. He edited the episode. He's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Editing.
Yep. Cole hasn't been on. You've been on Death Metal Cast before, but you haven't been on for a while, so we wanted to bring you on, and this seemed like a perfect excuse.
Right after. Yeah, we just had the episode. Came out Monday. God, it feels.
I know.
Sunday, it's been a while.
It's been a lot. A lot has happened over the past months, year. It feels like it's been a decade jammed into,
Yeah, this month has been a year.
Yeah. And in Egypt, they dug up like a bunch. They found this old tomb, and they opened the fucking sarcophagus of a 2,500-year-old mummy. And it's like, really? We're gonna do that in 2020? Full move.
My favorite part was that made Brendan Fraser start trending.
Wait, I didn't see that. Did that just happen?
Yeah, it was like this weekend.
Did that happen last year too?
Yeah,
that sounds super familiar.
I feel like they're messing with. They're just like they're looking for something. They keep opening up these sarcophagi. Just like, let's get Dio. We need Dio.
Can we counter? Can we counter all the stuff that's been happening with another curse?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if you got one curse and you bring in another one, that's just how you counter, right? The curse shows up and is like, all right, time to fuck up the world, and then he sees how it's already fucked up. They're like, maybe not.
Oh, damn.
It's like
what's the saying? Fight fire with fire.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Speaking of curses,
yeah.
I'm not really sure how to transition this.
How are you gonna segue this, Ben?
It's a Venom versus Crona was a spooky episode. No, that's terrible. We got questions.
Have had some people cursing, so now we're here to answer some questions.
There we go. That's why you're here, Chad. So again, if you have not watched Venom versus Crona yet, we will be getting into spoilers and specifically who wins the fight. That's kind of the whole point of the Q&A. These questions are pulled from the comments, from the chat when it premiered, from Twitter, from everything. So thank you to everyone who watched the episode and left comments. The episode got into the top 10 of trending on YouTube, which means every episode we've released since we came back from the break, the DBX Death Race break, has gotten onto top 10 trending on YouTube, which is crazy.
It's insane. So thank you guys for watching it.
Yeah, like I don't know what happened. Death Battle never used to trend ever, and then this year's just been crazy.
Yeah,
people looking for an outlet, quarantined at home. They're like, I gotta get catharsis out some way.
Not only did it trend, but it's also still, as of this moment, still trending. So like, yeah. So thank you guys, thank everybody.
Look it up. Like, you know what? I want to watch something go poorly for someone else.
And I'm also looking at the chat right now. I see a lot of first members in there. Thank you, first members, for joining us live. If you are watching this on YouTube, we record this live every Wednesday at noon Central Time. All right, let's go ahead and get into the Q&A.
For free. You don't even have to be a first member. But if you do sign up for a first membership trial, then you can talk and chat with us. So
it's important to know.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Q&A. Let's get it done. Number one, couldn't Venom possess Crona?
Oh, that's it. Okay,
that's
it. We had a tab that kind of touched on this, so this should be a quick answer. Venom's possession thing, it's not like a magical or psychic or like instant thing that he just touches you and boom, you're possessed. He's literally sending his goopy goop into your body.
Yeah, he's got to get all up in you.
It's more like puppeteering a person and then latching onto the brain and messing with it. It's gross. But it turns out Crona already has some gross goopy goop going on in their body. So they have counters to that. Ragnarok and Blackblood specifically serve as counters to...
Ragnarok says seats taken.
Great.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Next one.
That's why we specifically mentioned, sorry, Chad, that Ragnarok could puppeteer Crona himself.
Gotcha. I'm going to try and keep us on track because some of these I know you guys like to go. All right.
This one I think is going to be less complicated than some of the others.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
I see a lot of notes on this one. So if symbiotes are immune to the penance stare, shouldn't they be immune to other attacks that target the soul or mind, like what Crona can do?
Oh, checkmate.
I hate the penance stare so much. So, okay, the penance stare is such a cool move. It is such a cool thing that Ghost Rider has, and I love it to death. It is such an awesome move. But then when you bring other characters and heroes and into the mix, and it's like, well, Ghost Rider has to use the penance stare on them, but like, we can't kill Venom. We can't kill everybody with the penance stare, so they just survive it for some reason, and it just doesn't make any sense. We went into this in the Ghost Rider versus Lobo episode, actually, how the penance stare has been inconsistent throughout the years, and there are some reasons for it. For the most part, in that episode, we kind of deduced that like it's possible, it's strongly possible that Ghost Rider just doesn't usually use the full power of it all the time. He can choose to not destroy a person's soul with a penance stare and just knock them out. But for Venom in particular, there are a lot of different factors coming into it that could potentially resist the penance stare. Venom technically doesn't have traditional eyes, and the penance stare does require looking into eyes. Venom doesn't technically have eyes. It's like his whole body is an eye. It's weird and gross. Sounds super painful.
How does Venom see? Oh.
There's also the possibility that because Venom is technically two different entities and the memories of dozens of people, that might cause some weird crap to go down when the penance stare attacks it. There's actually a specific quote.
Yeah, because he was on Peter Parker, and Peter's pretty good.
Yes, because the penance stare uses the sins of the past ones, of the people it's targeting, and Venom has had some really good people attached to some really good people, and attached to some absolutely horrible people, and Deadpool, and that could also just throw everything out.
That's very true.
But there's a quote specifically from when Venom survived the penance stare, where Ghost Rider says, "So much sin, so many lives." And I think, probably the original intent of that was like, Venom is so terrible, he's taken so many lives. But you could also interpret it as there's so many lives that the penance stare is attacking because the Venom symbiote has the memories of dozens of lives. And so it can't necessarily target it as cleanly as other targets. Again, that is a little speculative, but it's one other possible reason. Another possible reason, Venom is a weird god alien monster thing. The originating from Null might have some sort of adverse reaction where the penance stare just doesn't work because it's not technically a mortal being in the normal sense. The symbiote started as just some weird black goop alien, and now it's some even weirder black goop alien. So basically, there are a lot of different reasons why the penance stare possibly didn't work. But for sure, Crona's more psychic-related attacks could work because Venom has been affected by other psychic attacks before, as mentioned in the episode.
Great. Moving on. What was trickier to implement in the writing, edit, and animation? The massive breadth of Venom content or the wild wackiness of Soul Eater?
Cole, how was this edit for you?
I feel like the Venom stuff was easier because there's so much that I could go and reference. like, because there's so much stuff, it's easier to find more, especially for the edit, because you want to get a lot of different angles, you want to get a lot of different uses of what's going on. The Soul Eater stuff tends to be a little trickier because there is a massive divide in the Soul Eater manga versus Soul Eater anime.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, if you don't have something that shows up in the manga, you only have the anime to kind of fall back on. So with that, like Venom, like, especially like the how much content there was for Venom versus Crona, I liked having Venom's archive of content to go through, as well as him being attached to Marvel. Like, I remember one note we got was about Asgardian IHOP. I was like, we got to get something. I was like, oh, there's a panel of Deadpool. We already referenced Deadpool. Let's throw in a panel of Deadpool making all those pancakes. Like,
so much stuff to work with, but also like making sure that we know what we're targeting with that, because there is so much stuff to work with. So thankfully we had some wonderful researchers on this who really knew what they were doing. Thanks to Grand and Felicia for helping out with that. Personally, as somebody who wasn't as familiar with Soul Eater going into this, like I don't know what what I would have done without them working on this, but it turned out great. And then I know Luis, you are also a big fan of Soul Eater, which I think helped out a lot in regards to putting together the animation.
Especially since all the tricky stuff was indeed from Soul Eater, specifically, having the moon in the fight, and also the crazy animations with like the morphing of like Ragnarok appearing and stuff like that. That was those parts are always tricky. But the one that like was the trickiest part was the binds that happened in the fight, and the torns basically. That part was a little bit tricky because the entire animation is running at like at 2 frames or whatever, and like the camera's moving around at 1 frame. But the torns are actually moving like really jittery, and that was very tricky to get right, especially since those torns are in the actual 3D background, basically. So like it's not like a thing that we made in Animate and then imported that into the fight. So it was very tricky to get that looking right, basically.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, Raider 001 in the chat is asking, why didn't Deadpool show up when you guys said his name? It's definitely something we've talked about. Like, is Deadpool going to show up every time Boomstick or Wiz says his name? Well, we're kind of moving away from that because Deadpool's shown up a lot in Death Battle, and we don't necessarily want to. It's not the Wiz and Boomstick and Deadpool show. Right, like not only can Deadpool kind of overwhelm, I think, an episode if he's used too much. We also don't own Deadpool, so like we can't exactly do that.
Too much. Yeah, I think it's more just like if Deadpool's like really, really, really tied into a character, like then we'll probably do it. But otherwise, we don't want to overuse it.
Yeah,
I also kind of feel like we sort of had a story arc in a way from Deadpool versus Deathstroke up until Deadpool versus Mask in terms of Wiz and Boomstick's relationship with characters like that. And I don't necessarily want to do anything that takes away from what Deadpool versus Mask ultimately accomplished, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you gotta say Deadpool in the mirror 3 times for it to appear on Death Battle.
I think we've already said it twice, so
that's the new rule. Just don't say his name one more time. All right, next question.
Shall not be named.
Yeah. Oh shoot, he's in the next question. Crap, no.
By the way, Maggie's in the chat, and hold on, let me find it. I want to get the exact quote. Cole is golden honey of editing.
Aw, Maggie's the golden honey of producing.
Aw.
Sorry, Sam. I don't mean anything bad to you, Sam.
No, it's fine. Throw him under the bus. We do.
She said it to me first. She said it to me. I have to respond in kind.
All right, great. Moving on. Question number 4. Was this episode inspired by Carnage versus Lucy?
No, definitely a little bit.
Absolutely not.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. No. What a weird coincidence. We just so happen to have a symbiote versus a pink-haired anime character.
Yep.
Well, okay. To be fair, Crona's matchups. Crona has there are several different matchups that have been popular requests for Crona, and the most popular ones have been Venom and Carnage. And whether the requests themselves spawned from Carnage versus Lucy, or it was just an original idea that's been happening before that, I'm not exactly sure, but I definitely can tell you that looking at the requests, it definitely brought Carnage versus Lucy to mind, and I figured this might be a way to sort of explore a similar kind of matchup with different powers and characters in just a different way. So you can kind of think of it almost as like a spiritual successor to that episode, even though I think it is a very different episode overall, despite how similar it might look on the onset. I was definitely not. I definitely preferred Venom over Carnage as a matchup, simply because Crona is not insane per se. I mean, madness is like a theme, but Crona is more of a victim than
not Cletus Cassidy levels of
insanity. Crona is a murderer. Yes, it's part of their story, but it is very much a victimized situation. I mean, granted, Cletus Cassidy is a victim in plenty of other ways, but it is, there would definitely be a weird imbalance in their personalities in comparison to Venom versus Crona. Venom is also a character that we've only had, I believe, once, and that matchup was against Bane, which was a very highly requested matchup. But I remember even back then when we would talk about it, I remember saying, like, I don't really know why this matchup is so highly requested.
Big brawlers, I guess.
I still don't really know. It's one of our most popular episodes, and I don't honestly know why. I think the episode is really cool, but the only real connection I can think of is that Bane uses a drug called Venom.
that might.
Yeah.
Is that all it was? I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah, probably.
It was a cool episode to make, though, and it was a fun episode to work on. But the connections of the character, like, Death Battle doesn't always need some very clear-cut connection between the two characters. That's not necessarily like a requirement or something. If a matchup is cool, we'll do it. It's no matter what it is.
Exactly. And also having it being a highly requested fight on top of that also helps. So
yes,
for sure.
But since Venom versus Bane didn't really get the chance to explore Venom to like his fullest potential, this definitely seemed like a better chance for that.
All right, next question.
So, y'all know the drill. It's 2020. This is how all these ads start. World's weird. Worst thing you can do, though, is not take advantage of the current state of things. You're probably at home, like a lot of us, and probably have some extra time that you could use to focus on a project. Maybe a little solo gig. Maybe something that you've always wanted to do. Maybe you have a screenplay. Maybe you have like a game, or you have like just a little animation you want to do. Well, let me tell you can get help to do it right at Fiverr.com. It's just an awesome site. You can the things you can get are like wild from them. I used it once to get a esports logo made as like just like a fun aside joke, and it was insanely professional for a ridiculous price, and it worked out great. And yeah, you can just use Fiverr for an insane amount of stuff. I swear there's YouTube channels that are just like, look at the stuff we did on Fiverr, and it's awesome. So yeah, whether you're launching your first business, scaling your current business, or in need of extra support to complete a project, Fiverr's global network of on-demand freelancer talent is here to help. So it's easy to customize your search by services, deadline, price, seller reviews, and more. There's no more guessing game, so you'll always know exactly what you're paying for up front. No negotiating needed, and you got 24/7 customer service, so you don't have to worry about that too. Yeah, it's just a great deal, and you can check out Fiverr by going to Fiverr.com, and you can receive 10% off your first order by using my code CAST. So find all the digital services you need at one place at Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and use the code CAST, C-A-S-T. Again, that's Fiverr.com, and the code CAST to get 10% off. Go check it out.
Why wasn't Venom the end included when where he becomes a god that creates a universe?
Real simple. That's just a what if story. It's not canon, and uses powers that, main timeline Venom doesn't really have access to.
Great. You nailed it.
Yeah, that's it.
Question 6. You claimed Crona is genderless, but they are specifically confirmed to be male in the anime.
Okay. So I definitely saw some confusion with this, and it's understandable because the anime does use male pronouns for Crona. Just real simple. The deal with Crona is that Crona's gender is never revealed in the manga, and in fact they use like a made up pronoun that doesn't exist because Japanese pronouns are different like that. And the confusion comes from the dub, because the English dub unfortunately did call Crona use male pronouns for Crona. That was a decade ago. Industry standards have improved a lot since then. But that's just the situation.
Yeah, we wanted to honor the source material. So
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How did you create the 3D set for this fight? And do you all plan? Hold on. Do you all plan to incorporate more 3D into future Sprite battles? Lisa's been throwing that shit in there like more and more every battle, man.
Yeah, for
Starting
sure.
with the grass, right?
Starting with the grass. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I did make some 3D grass. I'm super proud of that. Anyways, yeah, for sure. I think like moving forward, having more 3D backgrounds in general is the way I see 2D death battles going forward. And not only because there's a lot more room to grow in that aspect, but also because it makes the animation process a lot easier. Not sure if anyone knows this, but trying to find making 2D art that's like good for like backgrounds is like not easy at all, especially with the kind of timeline that we have for fights. So the 3D aspect, not only does it help us like make some really stunning backgrounds, but also play around with the camera and like do some interesting shots that we wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And yeah, you can expect to see more of that in the future, and keep expanding the craziness stuff that we do with.
And what did you use
fights.
to create the set?
It was Blender. We I've been using Blender for like since Leon Kennedy. Did I say Leon Kennedy? Yeah. And since that fight, I was like just completely learning all the different tools and stuff, and Christina was able to help me out getting started, and then from there I just kind of went through. And Blender is a free program. If you ever want to like learn 3D stuff, that's a perfect program to start with. So I highly recommend it.
All right. Next question. Why doesn't Venom scale to Dark Carnage? And why didn't you include Venom's codices? Cousins?
Codices, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's the plural of codex, which I don't think anybody really has ever had to say until this storyline that Venom has been in for a little bit now. So every so often we run into a situation with Death Battle where we have a matchup planned, we confirm it, we get into the pre-production, and then the current ongoing story throws a curveball and is like, oh, by the way, Goku has a new Super Saiyan form that you didn't know about when you were writing this.
That was great.
So this kind of happened with Venom. We locked this episode down late last year, obviously not knowing that we were going to jump into a storyline where Venom begins absorbing all the symbiotes ever to probably end up in a battle with the god of the symbiotes, Null, and become his equal and kill him or something like that. The story hasn't ended, so we're not entirely sure where it's going, but that's probably the most likely scenario, right? Here's the thing. So Dark Carnage is an example of like, Carnage also got the power of multiple symbiotes, and Venom got a symbiote that essentially had the powers of the Thing and Captain America and Wolverine, and was using that to fight Dark Carnage, and which is also a reason why like normal Venom wouldn't be able to stand up against Dark Carnage. He had all these extra powers, and that's ultimately where we kind of have to draw the line. Like, okay, if a new thing comes out where the character gets a bunch of new powers, are these powers planned to be, does it seem like these powers are an expansion of what the characters always had and are consistent with the character, or is this like a one-off thing? The character's just going to have these crazy new powers for this story and then it's over. And we sort of have to figure that out for ourselves because there's definitely not always a clear answer, which is weird, right? Like, it's just a situation that Death Battle is always going to run into with characters that have ongoing stories. You could say, like, well, why don't you wait till the end of their story? Venom's story is never going to end. He's too popular of a character. Marvel is going to make these comics forever. But
and also a lot of times we want to do like the most classic, most well-known, like the character, and not like the character of Venom that's happening right now where he's absorbed a shitload of symbiotes. Like, that's not really the
yes
matchup,
and no. I mean, in the past, we definitely were like, we need to go with a character that people identify with the most, or people remember the most. Like, that was definitely a thing we used to do a lot. Nowadays, it's more so like, let's explore the character to their fullest. But we still have to draw the line at powers and things that aren't going, like if you watch this episode 3 years from now and that storyline is done and the codices are just gone, like it's going to feel real strange and dated and not current, and it's not going to be the Venom that exists, if that makes sense.
Yeah, as well as like any of the drawbacks or limitations of those abilities hasn't been fully explored.
Yes,
like there could be something that shows like, oh, it would make him even weaker to Crona, or not, like, and we just have to make a decision.
But for some reason, swords are his weakness now.
Actually, it's weird. It's difficult, but it's just something we kind of have to move on from and not really include.
Church. You can't go to church anymore. It's his weakness.
It's entirely possible. That's not necessarily. It's an evil, like, super primordial god. There could be something in the comics where it's like, oh, by the way, now symbiotes can't enter holy ground or whatever. So I don't know.
He's afraid of blood now.
All right.
It's specifically the black kind.
And then number 9. Next time, red versus blue.
Yeah. Next time
we settle it.
So the next episode of Death Battle is red versus blue, and I wanted to kind of clarify what's going on with that episode, because it's a little different from a normal episode, but it's not what I think some people are expecting to be. So I've seen people asking, is this another crossover episode like Meta versus Carolina was? No, this is not a red versus blue episode mixed with a Death Battle episode. This is just a straight Death Battle. Uses Death Battle rules, Death Battle style, Death Battle format, everything. It is a team battle. It is the concept of this episode is, if we went back to the original teams of Blood Gulch and they actually fought in a war to the death like they were supposed to, sort of supposed to, which team would actually win and who would be the last man standing.
Yep.
That is what we're attempting to answer, essentially.
I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah. However, there is a bit of a caveat, because season 1 was season 1. We hadn't explored all the characters yet. Tucker didn't have his sword. Simmons wasn't a cyborg yet. All those things. Lopez showed up only halfway through. So we are still exploring all 17 seasons these characters have been through. This is very much a celebration, in a way, of the Red versus Blue series, which is one of the main reasons why we're all here right now, especially with Red versus Blue 0 coming up, like very soon. We very much wanted to celebrate these characters as Red versus Blue goes in a slightly different direction. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. This is our, I would say this is our gag episode of the year, technically.
But it's, we're still answering it,
Yeah, well, not every gag episode ends in some ridiculous, nonsensical ending. Some of them still do answer the question. But this is definitely the one that I think is the most absurd
I'm just gonna say, if this is a gag episode, then it's way too good for what.
Okay.
It's way too good for a gag.
We're spoiling everyone with gag episodes. I expect this going forward.
This is God, yeah. So okay, like full transparency, this also served as sort of a internal pilot in a way for Red vs. Blue Zero. Specifically, Torian, who's showrunning RVB Zero, was the animation director for this fight, as sort of a way to test out some new ideas for what's going to be implemented in the animation for RVB Zero. Different camera techniques, rendering techniques. The whole mocap system has been like revamped from the ground up, which is awesome. And a lot of that stuff sort of started with this to lead into RVB Zero. So you guys know how crazy Torian's animations can get, how intense and awesome he is with them. Cool. Now imagine that with Simmons and Griff and Church and Caboose.
I saw a lot of questions about people asking specifically, can we let people know who's included on what teams?
It is the teams from season 1. The entire teams. So red team has Sarge, Griff, Simmons, Donut, Lopez, and the Warthog. Chupa thingy. And then blue team has Church, Caboose, Tucker, Tex, Sheila, the living tank.
Yeah.
Am I missing anybody? I don't think I'm missing anybody. There's a lot of people running around this fight. I'm pretty sure that's everybody, but it's the original teams from season 1. We're not necessarily bringing in the freelancers from later on in the series or whatnot. This is, again, the concept is if we just took it back to season 1 with all these characters' experiences intact, which team would actually win and who would be the last man standing. So it was really fun to work on.
Yeah.
And then Josh was also the writer. He's one of the main guys behind RVB Zero as well. While it's not a crossover episode, there was definitely some crossover in how it was made with Zero, and we're very excited about Zero as well when that eventually comes out.
Yeah,
I think that covers everything.
Sorry, I was laughing. The chat we just got to the point where you mentioned Chupa thingy, and everybody's like, "You mean the Puma?"
The Puma. I mean, I love calling it Chupa thingy. I know it's some people consider it the official name, and I think I consider it the official name.
Yeah. You're making that up.
I think it's the Pro Circuit, MLG. They're like, Chupa thingy. Inbound.
So, well, I'm very excited to share this with you because, like Luis sort of implied, because of the crazy animation shit that went into producing this to lead into RVB Zero, I personally think the fight has no business being as good as it actually is.
Well, because especially the show is so silly, and it started out, it's like early machinima, it's just walk up. And now we got Torian animating, there's flips and shit, and
dude, oh my god, it looks so good. If you haven't seen the trailers for RVB Zero, you can kind of there's definitely some correlation with how it looks. Yeah, it's going to be exciting, but I don't want to spoil too much. I don't want to get into too much. Yeah. It's a fun episode. It airs in 2 weeks or wait, less than 2 weeks technically. The 18th. I did want to mention. So it is airing on the 18th, and there was some confusion because I had mentioned we are doing a Halloween episode this year. That will be after this. It doesn't quite line up perfectly because the episode, our Halloween episode, airs the day after Halloween. But it's close enough.
Going. Keep the party going.
That's easy. Just don't go to sleep and then pretend it's still Halloween and then watch the episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Dress up, still have your costume on.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Watch the episode, it'll be Halloween.
So that's the deal.
Apparently they put Puma on the wheels of the Warthog in Halo Anniversary. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Puma brand tires or something.
Oh my god.
All right. Do we have a what's going on? Or it was
what's going on?
So, as y'all know, AT&T just helped us pull off RTX this year, which was a huge achievement considering that we are, in the middle of a pandemic. But AT&T's 5G is now available nationwide, and it's not going to stop at just helping make RTX possible. It's going to go on to make all sorts of dope stuff possible. So whether you're at home or on the go, you'll enjoy coverage in some more places. Plus, AT&T doesn't make it complicated. 5G access is included in all the best consumer unlimited plans at no extra cost. For more information on 5G, go to att.com/5G. Go check it out. It's more G's. Who doesn't want more G's?
It was red versus blue.
With you, Cole. How you doing, man?
Oh, me?
There you go.
Pretty good. Yeah, what do you want to know? What's going on?
What if outside of Death Battle, what have you been working on? What should people who are tuning in to this show, if they see you and go like, oh, that guy's cool. I want to see him in more stuff and see more what he does. Let them know what you do.
So when I'm not editing on Death Battle, I am, I guess, co-hosting Backwards Compatible. We're on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Friday mornings
With Sam
and our good friend Kyle Taylor, who Bring It Full Circle. He was a machinimator for RVB.
That's true.
So we do backwards compatible gameplays, sometimes single player watch throughs, sometimes multiplayer. We're doing 2 spooky October currently, so a lot of horror games, a lot of spooky types.
What's the one that everyone's playing right now? Oh wait, hold on.
Phasmophobia. He works at Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
That's beyond my gravestone. May I die. And it's not gonna be past tense. He's still there. He's bones buried
for Rooster Teeth somehow.
Bones buried in stage 5.
Oh my god.
But and then we also have kind of we're on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but we're gonna be coming back soon as the RTX footage is done. We have some more anime adjacent content that we air on the Rooster Teeth animation channel every Tuesday. And I think it's Tuesday for RT site, Wednesdays for the RT animation channel on YouTube.
Cool. Yeah. I do see I see you all in the chat. I see it. Let's talk about Steve.
Oh yeah. Dude, what the fuck? I was like
Talk about being way off.
I know,
So-
but it's also just like the amount of
It
complexity
makes so
and
much
work.
sense. It makes so much sense to the point where I am shocked that I didn't even think of it.
I mean, Microsoft is way tied into Minecraft, not Nintendo. But I mean, I guess they are.
they got Banjo.
But
that's
Microsoft
true.
and Nintendo are like the two buddy. Like they were the ones like, oh, we'll let Rocket League play crossplay before Sony would.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, you might not know this, but Minecraft has sold a lot on Nintendo.
I mean, that's true.
Fucking lot.
Yeah.
Also,
Go ahead, Cole.
there is the precedent of Banjo with Rare
Yeah.
getting Banjo back. So
I feel like Xbox has wisely decided Nintendo's not really trying to compete with them. So let's just work with them. It's fine.
I was just blown away, just by the complexity that was put into this character. And the thing that I feel really bad about is because as somebody who plays Smash, I know all of the rest of us do, which is pretty competitively. We're always playing on Omega stages or whatever, right?
Competitively to a certain degree.
Right? But no items and whatever, and it's okay if you play that way. But I just think about when he's going through all the detail of and different surfaces that you're standing on. He'll mine different things, and I'm just thinking that's so much work for shit that I'll never see.
people are gonna min-max it. People are gonna find the best way to play him.
Yeah, I know. I felt guilty in that moment because he's and if you set it to Omega, it'll just always be random. And I'm but just to think that the stage depending and the part of the stage you run to mine your resources, and it's just God, that was so much work, and I'm not gonna see it ever, not once.
I am looking forward to the mini games that people make. Where it's okay, be the first to collect one of every object or something
Put them in a specific stage, one of those big ones that have all sorts of different platforms and whatnot.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that one with the lava and whatnot? The maze,
the Kirby one. It's Yeah,
dude. The block creation is the thing that I'm like the most scared of. Like, you're gonna be able to do some stupid. I don't know how they're gonna let that go to launch. And I know he kept saying that, like, hey, this is probably, it's probably gonna be some more tooling. But like, if you can get somebody with like shitty recovery off stage and then just block them away from the ledge, like, you can just never get them off ledge. Like, you can't get off ledge with Steve or he's gonna fuck you. Like, especially now I'm thinking 2v2s and the amount of like ridiculously dumb setups that people could do with those fucking blocks. Like, I don't know, man. That's a crazy mechanic.
I'm just really happy for the people who really wanted Steve, because like, that everyone was like, you need to shut up, like that's not happening, like ever. There's no way Steve is gonna be ever in Smash, so like don't even like mention it. And then like it happens, and it's like that moment for them to be like, yes,
vindicated. The thing that was cracking me up too was he kept talking about, he's like, I haven't had a lot of time to play test, because normally, and he just subtly drops like, normally I will go up and battle my employees during lunch. And I was like, fuck, man, could you imagine that, Presser?
Oh my
God. You're just like sitting having lunch, and just like Sakurai walks up and just like whips out a switch, and you're just like, oh shit.
Everyone's don't make eye contact. It's the intern sitting there with a switch out like, huh?
Yeah, I know.
It's like his second day on the job.
What if that's part of the interview process? It's like, okay, you seem like a really great candidate. Now fight me and Smash.
Let's find out how good you really are.
Yeah. You want a job? We'll settle it in Smash.
Oh my god!
You can tell that Sakurai knew that people were gonna react like weirdly about it, because as soon as they got out of the trailer, he was like, what did we just watch? Oh, what is that?
Yeah. Man, what is this? Does this open up? Okay, so I know there was, I don't know if this is confirmed or if it was rumor, but I know there was some talk about how this batch of characters was selected by Nintendo, not Sakurai himself. I don't know how 100% confirmed that is, but if that is the case, what are the chances of seeing something like a Fortnite character?
I mean, dude, they did Snake. If they could do Snake, they could do a Fortnite character. You know what I mean?
Like, after Steve, I don't want to say like that's not gonna happen ever again. So
yeah, like Fortnite, or my mind immediately went to Skyrim, like some kind of Dovahkiin.
The dragon shows up.
Okay,
Smash.
No, I want it is his Fuzura Die. I want it to be like as powerful as a Falcon Punch, but with like a little bit more range. Screaming people off ledges.
The way the shouts work in that game is you can like do them shorter depending on how many words you say.
That's
so
true.
like if you hold it down, you
it's
charge
like
it up.
It's like Ike's charge. Yeah, like,
the full thing is massive explosion.
If you get the max one, it's like full screen. Like
only except that the final Smash finishes with like the dance. Like the dance has to be there.
Yeah.
His down beak, and he puts a bucket on someone's head.
And then he shoots an arrow into your knee. Hey, it's time for the community death battle.
Oh my god. That right there was a meme I could go my entire life without ever being reminded of again.
Oh my gosh.
What? Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, Apocalypse versus Black Adam was the matchup that was decided on last week for some reason. But as always with the community death battles, we leave it up to you guys to let us know who you think should win and why using hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter. And we also have a poll. So let's go ahead and bring up the first answer for Apocalypse, I guess, whoever comes up first.
This one's from Jason Sith. Black Adam has better reaction speed, but Apocalypse has the equipment and power of the Celestials that matched Galactus, whose battle with Scryer and the other threatened to destroy all universes. He has magic and non-magic matter manipulation that bypass Black Adam's defense. Pretty solid argument there for Apocalypse.
I don't remember that. I don't remember the celestial armor. That maybe I'm just forgetting. But okay, that's crazy. Let's go ahead and bring up the answer for Black Adam. Hopefully he's got something Just as good.
This one comes from Smith Alicia. In Excalibur #1, when faced with a magical gate, Apocalypse is completely powerless and needs Rogue to absorb the magic to get past it. Black Adam's magic is powerful enough that he shattered Nth Metal, which not only is indestructible, but it can destroy magic. I'm Adam and he wins.
Oh, with the pun.
Oh my god.
Oh god, it's nope.
Yeah.
You know, I was probably gonna lean towards Apocalypse on this one, but I'm going with that. I'm going with Black Adam just for that pun. Way to go.
Settled your argument and threw a pun in it while you're at it.
If we ever use Black Adam in a death battle, let's make sure we work that pun in somewhere.
we'll get your credit in the credits.
Yeah. Writing credit.
For that one specific pun. Yeah. Adam and oh god. All right. I'm double checking that celestial armor. That's from. So I believe he didn't use it for very long. It was granted to him. Yeah, he didn't make it. It's crafted by the Celestials. Provided to him. Okay, I'm having trouble finding the specific powers of it, but the thing seems really overpowered.
I mean, it is Apocalypse. So.
I mean, Apocalypse is such a we've talked about bringing him into a potential death battle, and it would definitely be interesting because, like, we all know Apocalypse, but do we know what he really does? Like his powers and his abilities and whatnot. It seems like he's kind of able to make them up on the fly to a certain extent.
Which version?
The writers can.
Like, that's the other. Because of the cable shit and all the different timelines and.
Yeah, that's fair
like,
too. Apocalypse would be such
fun.
an interesting character to bring into a death battle. Just and a difficult one because of how much is going on with him.
We really have to be like aware where in time are we choosing to do Apocalypse? Like, oh, let's go to like, you know, during like the 90s TV show days and the comics and where were we up to there, right? But then like then it gets crazy because then we got that whole thing of like, oh nope, but now we're gonna take him, we're gonna raise him as good, and that whole Deadpool thing, which like,
it's almost which of these is the best of which one is the best Apocalypse.
Yeah, basically. Well, like that point, as good as that pun was, Apocalypse not being able to absorb magic energy doesn't apply later on. He's able to manipulate energy, so I don't know if that answer on really works too well, unfortunately. I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards Apocalypse.
Yeah, same here.
I think Black Adam's moveset is he's very powerful, but I feel like he's got a limited set of powers that Apocalypse will be able to work around.
Like I said, I'm going for it just for the pun, but also I know DC's got there's some bullshit in those comics. There's some bullshit in those comics, and you know it. Like
dig far enough, you'll find it.
That's right.
Sure. Black Adam is incredibly powerful, and I could be very much underselling him by saying Apocalypse could even do anything to him. I don't know. But
dude, he's gonna be played by The Rock.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Ooh.
That's amazing casting. Can't wait.
Oscar Isaac was Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, and possibly good casting. Everything else.
That movie sucked so bad.
You know, actually, Oscar Isaac could be a very good Apocalypse. Man, he looked so goofy in that movie. They almost had him.
Yeah,
well,
like, I remember when the first
screenshots
leaked and everyone was just putting him next to Ivan Ooze.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just saying he looked like Ivan Ooze.
He was better than Ivan Ooze, to be fair.
That's true.
But he still looked kind of goofy. It's a little hard to take him seriously when he's like, I'm going to eliminate all life and rebuild it from... It's just a very silly movie. All right.
Okay.
Luis,
So
who are you voting
was it Olivia
for?
Munn that played...
Played Psylocke, who had one line in the whole movie.
Everything. I swear, like I would love to get a whole page of the script because then if it was just Olivia Munn makes the Olivia Munn face, because I feel like that was
She turned down Deadpool for that as well.
Oh no.
She was why am I blanking on her name?
Domino?
No, Deadpool 1. The lead female character. I can't remember her
Deadpool's
name.
love interest?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Oh god, that's gonna bother me.
But anyway, also I'm not shitting on Olivia Munn. Like, if you've seen Newsroom, like, she's actually a really good actress. Or becomes one over the course of that show. But oh my god, I was cracking up because I felt so bad because it's like Psylocke's the coolest shit character that you don't see a lot of in like mainstream media, right? So I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, we're gonna get some Psylocke representation. But it was, she just stood there for like most things, just made that face and then fought some people and then had like 2 lines. And I was just like, man, that was a waste.
Vanessa is the character. Copycat.
Apocalypse. I'll say it right now.
Voting Apocalypse. So we got 2 Apocalypse, 1 Black Adam with Chad.
That's right.
All right, Cole.
I think, as much as I love that pun, I think I have to go Apocalypse, just because in my mind, Apocalypse is like a final boss. Whereas like Black Adam's like the second arc final boss that you think is the final boss, that then it's later revealed to be.
Are you using fighting games?
No.
Are you using fighting games right now to determine this for you?
In JRPGs, it's like, oh, this was the boss all along. It was always Apocalypse.
I guess Shazam has the worm guy or whatever is kind of his final boss. I can't remember.
Yeah.
The worm guy.
The worm guy. He appeared in the movie at the very end. It was like, I'm the worm guy.
Look at me.
Okay. Apocalypse sounds like between the 4 of us, Apocalypse has got it. But of course, we leave it up to you all voting on the poll to figure out who actually wins this community death battle. So let's go ahead and bring that up.
Yep.
Ooh,
but close.
That was really
close.
That is a very close poll. But Apocalypse wins. Suck it.
Whatever.
Adamant.
Apocalypse.
There you go.
Adamantly won that. All right. Hey, Cole.
Yes.
What do you want the next community death battle to be? All
right. So, a little peek behind the curtain. We talked during the commentary. I think it was before the commentary. I don't think it made it.
Yeah, it was before we were recording.
Yeah. I whenever I think, I'm trying to think of the most ridiculous ones I could think of, and it just came. Fred Flintstone against George Jetson. They live in the same universe. It's canonical.
And the reason we wanted to talk about this is because somebody, I don't remember who, first was just like, well, George Jetson clearly has it. He has the technology advantage. But then it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I know Fred Flintstone's been hit by some shit, dude. Like
he carries his car everywhere he goes.
Also, he's got muscle.
Also, the Jetsons all have robots that do everything for them.
Yeah, like they don't even get out of bed and brush their teeth, like or dress themselves.
Imagine the atrophy. Imagine the atrophy to their muscles. Like,
yeah. Oh man, and I'm very interested in this one because they're both like, it's Hanna-Barbera, right? That does both those. Yeah, like they're dude. Those are the matchups that I think are like some of my favorite to do. Are the ones where it's like, hi, this character, when we created it, was clearly never meant to ever fight someone. And like, I love it because
canonically does not fight.
Right. So they don't think about that and they let him get crushed by giant boulders or like blasted into space or like some kind of shit. And then we just have to be like, oh, all right, that means they're capable of withstanding, blink. And it's
survived the freezing temperatures of space for so
exactly.
long.
Yeah. Like there's probably a time where like George Jetson's in his little like thing, whatever it's called, and then like there's probably like the hatch opens and he like reaches out and grabs something or some shit, like
or like he like there's like a car crash or like a buggy crash and it's like the glass is cracked. It's like, oh, imagine like the pressure change that would happen.
I'm pretty sure.
And he survived.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not fully sure. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that they went to the moon to go to a restaurant at one point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they weren't wearing helmets. I'm pretty sure that happened, but I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm 98% sure.
Just doing a quick Google search to see if an image pops up. They were wearing helmets.
Oh no.
They were wearing helmets.
It was so fast.
Are they wearing gloves?
But
are they wearing gloves?
They weren't wearing any other protective suit. No gloves.
Also, Fred Flintstone's got that smoker's lung, so You have to bring that into account. He's not gonna have that much endurance.
Also, you remember the Great Gazoo?
Yeah,
that weird little like alien character that the Flintstones interact with every now and then.
Yeah.
There's got to be some shit with that.
He's got to give Fred some
witches.
kind of
right. I don't remember.
I'm looking at this image of George Jetson on the moon. It's just like boggling my mind because it looks like he's wearing a bubble helmet that doesn't have any sort of oxygen plugged into it at all. It's just a fish-like bowl.
It's the future.
And it looks like he might be wearing some sort of... No, he's not wearing anything else that's protective. It's just his normal outfit.
He's got a fanny pack.
Yeah.
Hyper Mario Sunshine says in the chat that both the Flintstones and Jetsons have WWE crossovers.
What? All right. This is it. We're gonna look into that. All right. So, who do you think wins between Fred Flintstone and George Jetson? Let us know using hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter. We will have a poll up later on this week. You can just check out the @DeathBattle account on Twitter and vote there. And holy shit, it's gonna be a fun episode.
Oh, there's also the Pebbles cereal commercials, and apparently George Jetson stole his Pebbles cereal one time.
And we haven't seen George Jetson since.
Yeah.
So we've got a motive.
When Pebbles are on the line.
Also, I don't see a respect thread for Fred Flintstone, which is just a shame. I haven't checked George Jetson yet.
Time to change that. It's time to change that. All right. I will also say it was mentioned beforehand. I think we talked about it in a sudden death last week, but we are looking for a community death metal matchup for what is his name? Ice
Bear from We Bear Bears.
From We Bear Bear.
Yeah.
So that's not the community death battle this week, but be thinking about Ice Bear for next week because we would like to maybe explore that next week. All right. Thank you all for watching this episode of Death Battle Cast. Thank you, Cole, for joining us for this episode.
Thanks for having me again.
If you want to come back for next week to talk about Fred Flintstone versus George Jetson, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that, we'll wrap this episode up. Just be kind to others, be kind to yourself, and be awesome. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.